I see the outcome of the election not as an affirmation of Donald Trump and his MAGA agenda. It was a rejection of a status quo that had come to be defined by inflation and the migrant crisis. We would have won the election were it not for those structural realities of inflation and the migrant crisis.
Democrats having some frank talk, including in public, about why they lost the election. Richie Torres there basically pointing to two big macro factors, economy and immigration, while also urging his party to think anew and not just do the exact same thing over again. Take a look at New York, which many people think of as quite blue. Harris still won the state, but did worse, as you see here, against Trump than Biden. The idea that Donald Trump roared back to 44% in blue New York is pretty striking. At the same time, 600,000 New Yorkers who were part of that Biden margin you see, they stayed home this month. Trump also won Nassau County and Long Island, which is striking because Democrats have dominated there every cycle since '92. And we bring that county up for a reason. It's the same place now sending a Democrat, Laura Gillen, to Congress, despite Trump improving the overall Republican presidential vote there. Here's how she sounded on the campaign trail.
You send me to Congress, I will work with anyone from any party. This is the most flippable seat in the entire country. We're 2,000 miles from Mexico, but we're feeling the migrant crisis almost every day. I'll fund our police to keep Nassau County families safe. I cut taxes, eliminated wasteful spending, and took on corrupt politicians in both parties.
We're joined now by Congresswoman-elect for New York's 4th District, the aforementioned area there, Laura Gillen. Thanks for being here.
All right, thanks for having me.
You're in a place that is complicated. It has red and blue, as discussed. The first big good thing for you is I've covered politics a little bit. People like a winner. You're the winner right now. So there are Democrats looking to the ad we just showed, some of your message, and saying, OK, you obviously tried to meet people where they were. Tell us about not just what you campaigned on in general, but people who were either MAGA or MAGA curious, what you said to them.
Look, I ran a really aggressive field program. We knocked on over 300,000 doors. And I didn't just focus on talking to Democrats. I talked to independents and I talked to Republicans. And that's part of the reason I think we won this race is because I listened to my constituents. I've represented the majority of this congressional district and local office, worked in a bipartisan way to deliver results for the people here. So I think I had some street cred with the voters here. And I insisted that that's what I'm going to do in Congress because, you know, people are sick of the rhetoric. They're sick of the finger pointing. They want someone who's listening to what they care about and it's offering them some ideas for solutions.
So if someone in your district, we saw your ad there, says, you know, they're concerned about not only immigration in general, but undocumented, unlawful migration, what would you say to them?
Look, our immigration system has been broken for decades. It's been in need of a fix, but there's been a lack of political will on both sides of the aisle to get something done. I think the mandate that we have seen for Washington is you must fix this border crisis. Our asylum system needs to be fixed. People are coming here, seeking asylum, sitting here in limbo for years. That doesn't help them and it doesn't help us in terms of security. We need to fix that system so claims can be adjudicated quickly and people are either allowed to stay because they qualify for asylum or they're sent back from where they came from because they don't qualify for asylum. We need to secure our border. We need to send more resources there and put in new technology to make sure it's safe and to stop the flow of fentanyl. And it should be done in a bipartisan way. I think that is really the key to having a lasting reform for our immigration policy, when there's buy-in from both sides. So it's not hyper-partisan, and if the shift in power brings in a new majority, that they're just going to throw out that law and start over again.
Let me show you one other thing I'm sure you're familiar with. When you look at the overall margins nationally, Donald Trump had a comeback, but it was a narrow comeback. His 1.6% margin there is not just behind, say, Biden last cycle. It's really behind most other comparisons going back to, the Bush era. And so when you come into this new Congress, where do you see the need to work with Donald Trump as the lawful winner of the election? And where do you see the need for your party to also keep in mind that this wasn't a Reagan blowout. And for all of the shockwave that is the Trump mood, it would seem that you guys have a pretty close mandate yourselves.
So my job as the newly elected congressperson for this district is to go to Washington to get things done. And if I can work with the Trump administration to deliver wins for this district, that's 100% what I'm going to do. Donald Trump came to my district and he said he would restore our state and local tax deduction. That is of huge importance to the people in this district. So I'm happy to reach out to my Republican colleagues who campaigned on this, like Congressman Garbarino, Congressman Lalotta, and also to the Trump administration. Say, you came to the district, you said you would do it, let's do it, let's make it happen.